I'm going to show you a technique to do a hyoid release. So the hyoid apparatus is a group of small bones that sits at the back of the jaw, and it has the tongue attaches into it, and then it also has muscular attachments which go down the neck and into the shoulder. So although it's only a small group of bones, if the hyoid apparatus is tight, it can cause tension through the jaw, and then also down through the neck into the shoulder, and even along the back into the hindquarters. So there are a few different techniques that you can use to do a hyoid release. I'm going to show you a really simple one, which anybody can do, and it's not going to hurt the horse. You might come across some videos which show you a method of doing a hyoid release which involves pulling the tongue out of the side of the mouth. This isn't one that I would recommend most people attempt, because if you keep hold of the tongue and the horse pulls back, you can actually damage the hyoid apparatus. So this technique that I'm going to show you is really safe to use on all horses. Okay, and all you're going to do, those of you who have ever had a horse which doesn't want to open its mouth when you're putting the bit in, this technique is very similar to what you would do to get the horse to open its mouth. So obviously there's a part of the mouth where the bit sits, where there are no teeth. You're just going to put your finger in the side of the mouth and tickle the tongue until the horse starts to lick. And we're looking for the horse to bring its tongue out as far as possible. So if it's only bringing its tongue out a little way, then just keep asking gently until you get a bit more movement through the tongue. So we're just asking the horse to mobilise its tongue a little bit more. So the way I find easiest is the hand that's nearest to the horse just holds onto the halter or the bridle. It is easier without a bit in the mouth, but you can do it with a bridle on as well. You're just going to put your finger in the side of the mouth and tickle the tongue and ask them to mobilise their tongue. Now obviously I'm not holding onto her head too tightly, I'm not holding onto the halter really tightly, so that if she does suddenly pull her head up, I'm not going to get pulled up, and I'm not forcing her to keep her head down. And you can just ask them to do that a few times. So we're getting a few good licks. She's probably not bringing her tongue out quite as much as I would like, so I would keep asking until I get that tongue coming out of her mouth just a little bit further. So depending on how tight your horse is around its hyoid apparatus, so you know, if you've got a horse which is really tense in the mouth or does a lot of chomping on the bit when you're riding, then there's a good chance your horse has some tension through the hyoid apparatus. And you can do this exercise really every time before you ride, or at least a couple of times a week otherwise. And even if your horse doesn't seem to have any tension, I would recommend that you do this exercise at least once a week.